All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sort of lay out a roadmap for you. I'm going to talk about 10 artists that shaped all of heavy music. We're going to start at the beginning, the foundation, all the way through where it took us and where we're still going. So let's start at the beginning, and that's Chuck Berry. All right, I'm gonna turn this down. You hear that? That riff is the basis of all hard rock, all metal, all rock and roll, really. All the guitar riffs that you've ever heard in your life began with that. We're all Chuck's children. And then...
Gonna tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John. He claimed he has a music buddy having a lot of fun, oh baby.
Little Richard. Okay, why Little Richard? Does it sound heavy? You damn well better believe it does. Listen to that voice. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for Little Richard. So what do we got next? Rolling Stones. You hear that? You hear that riff? Chuck Berry, man. Chuck Berry gave them that riff. They stole it, but they took it someplace new. Satisfaction. Okay, the Rolling Stones. We all know the bad boys of rock and roll. You had the Beatles and the Stones. You know, I could put Beatles in here, but we're talking heavy. And the Stones really took it to that place. They took it to that place that gave rise and gave birth to all the things that we listen to, that we love, that heavy thing. You know, it may sound tame by today's standards, but this is what made the Stones so important. They came out in the midst of dealing with the Beatles and saying, no, we're a little bit dirtier than that. We come from a place where what's in our hearts is just a little bit grimier. And that is where the trajectory of heavy music really just went someplace. And now where do we go? All right, The Who. Can't leave out The Who. You hear that? You hear how dirty? See, it got dirtier with The Who, and they pushed it even further into your face. They wanted a louder sound. They wanted a harder sound. They wanted you to feel what they feel. And the bass, listen to the bass. Bass. See, the bass really, in this band, the bass is the virtuoso, and it's really the foundation. The heaviness comes from that distorted sound that John Entwistle is getting, and that, more than anything, pushed it further into a heavy, more electrified area. So what do we got next? Jimi Hendrix. Listen to that. Okay, the first real guitar god. The first real guitar god. The guy who pushed it to boundaries nobody had ever heard before, and he was blowing people's minds. This was heavy music. This is where heavy guitar really became heavy. The guitar god idea was born right here. I don't know how we got that sound at that time. The technology was just barely, I mean, yeah, Jim Marshall made it possible, you know, but Jimmy, you know. All right. I'm going to stop it right here, because what I'm going to put on right now for you, the band that is one of my absolute all-time favorites. They broke doors open for me, and in this one moment, metal, punk, thrash, everything along those lines was born. In in that moment, everything that had been suppressed, everything that the Stones wanted to say, everything that the Who wanted to say, all these bands who had still been holding back, they'd been pushing the boundaries, and they've been pushing, and they've been pushing. But in this moment, the sheer rebellion, the angst, the anxiety, all the doors were shattered to smithereens in this moment. Listen to it again.
Right now, it's time to bring out the jams, motherfucker!
Badass! 1969, MC5, their debut album, recorded live. Now, who does that? They put out their debut album live. They knew they couldn't be contained in the studio. If you listen to their studio stuff, you realize why this had to happen, because something was missing in their studio stuff. This album stands as a testament to all things heavy that ever were punk, thrash, everything was just born on this day. All right, what do we got now? Black Sabbath. Okay, this, Sabbath has to go there. They're the architects of what we know as heavy metal. The godfathers of heavy metal, right? Everybody pretty much is in agreement with that. You might have a few arguments, but Black Sabbath, you had Zeppelin and you had Sabbath. Zeppelin went more bluesy. These guys decided to go dark, taking those moods and those energies that creeped you out when you saw a horror movie and applying it to an electrified version of what these other bands have been doing up to that point. They inadvertently created something that hadn't existed before. It's the moment that you got it. The people at that time, a lot of people were confused by it, and other people were just like, what is this? Oh my God. Next. Deep Purple. All right? Gotta put Deep Purple on the list, because listen to this. Stupid, simple chords, just basic chords. I mean, who would think that, a virtuoso like Richie Blackmore would do something so simple? When these chords hit the airwaves, every kid with a guitar just went, I can do that. That's the single greatest contribution Deep Purple ever made, and Deep Purple made a lot of contributions because they simplified it. They made everybody with a guitar or an aspiration to play guitar, that light bulb would go off over their head and go, I can do that. Heavy music can be very complicated, but the driving force is also its simplicity. This is what made that happen. This is what put forth the idea that you don't have to be a virtuoso. When you play it with attitude, when you mean it, it speaks volumes. You can just give it all you got. And Smoke on the Water made that happen. Alice Cooper! Alice, man. You gotta hand it to Alice on every level. But this song right here, School's Out, this is the beginning of arena rock. The arena rock anthem was born with this song. No choice. All the girls and boys. School's out for summer. I mean, come on. School's out for summer. Every kid in the world is waiting for this day. rebellious spirit where you can't hold us back anymore. Thank God, we're out of here and we're going crazy. This is it. The anthem was born. Every feeling that we've ever had about being oppressed by a system that we feel is there to just malign our very nature and take away our individuality is put into this song because now we're free. Greatest rebellious anthem right here, because when we're kids we get it but we don't know how to express it. Then Alice comes along and says school's out. School's out forever. That's what heavy music is all about. School is out forever. Forever! Kiss, of course Kiss is on the list. Because whereas Alice Cooper gave us the pivotal arena rock song, the arena rock anthem, Kiss was born on that entire idea. Everything we're gonna do is based on bigger, louder, more bombastic, more electrified, more in your face, for as many people as you could possibly pack into an arena. That's Kiss. They took that idea and ran with it. The first line of the song takes Alice's School's Out idea and lays more on top of it with the very first line of Deuce. Get up and get your grandma out of here. There you go. That's the only line you need to listen to for this song because it says it all. School's out? Yeah. Now guess what? Get your grandma out of here. Get your parents out of here. We're taking over. We're throwing a party. This is our time. And the Stadium Rock Band was now permanently ingrained in our psyche. And then, I'm gonna give it away. Where are you gonna go after that, right? Where are you gonna go? With the pure architecture, the blueprint of heavy music. I mean, it's pretty much all laid out, and everybody can all make assumptions about where we should take this, and we can get creative, and we can go our places with. Now we've got the foundation laid. Who's next? Is there anybody else that we can add to the list? Fuck yes, there is. Motorhead. And this is the song. I mean, this is the one everybody plays. We talk about Motorhead, you talk about Ace of Spades, and you know they've got such an amazing catalog that it's a shame to boil it all down to one. But you know what? This was the one that exalted them and put them on the map. That made me go, holy shit! Right? Motorhead. Why? They took the same ideas from all those other artists I just mentioned, but they played it fast. They sped it up. They said, you know what? This is not revved up high enough for me. I need it to go faster. I need that motor to be gunned. Motorhead. The greatest names of any band ever. For this kind of music, oh my God, because it says it all. And they backed it up. The music itself, it's more distorted. It's...
You know I'm going to lose. I got plans for fools. But
that's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. The distortion off of John Englis's bass, electrified raw emotion of Jimi Hendrix, the streetwise attitude of The Who, the bad boys of Rolling Stones, but it's also Chuck Berry. Everything that Motorhead does is based off that basic idea of what Chuck Berry laid down in the very first place. Now, the foundation is complete. The blueprint is now as complete as it needs to be so that every artist, every musician, everybody who's got a penchant for anything heavy now is on their own. Because what we got after this was a sheer combination of all things prior. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Marilyn Manson, all the grunge acts, everything. It came from all of these architects. They're the best examples I could possibly give you of what drove us to where we are today. And I'm just calling this, you know, the roadmap to heaviness, the architects who created all things heavy. Because I don't care about the different genres, and it splinters off into many different areas. Thrash, hardcore, grindcore, punk, speed metal, all of it. And any genre that may come up from this point forward still is going to owe itself to these 10 artists. I'm distilling it down to 10 artists, and that's enough, I think, to explain the whole damn system. Now, what are you going to do with it?